Today we're going to look at a very obscure Nintendo accessory that not many people will probably recognize. And that's this guy right here, Rob the Robot. Even though he wasn't as popular as the Nintendo system, his role in bringing it to the US was actually essential. Before the Nintendo was released in the US, the country was going through a video game crash that had occurred in 1983. This was a time when people had stopped playing video games, and anything even resembling a video game system was immediately shunned by retailers. So Nintendo decided to pair the NES system up with a robot and market the console as a robot gaming system rather than a video game system. And to everyone's surprise, the plan worked. Now the robot they ended up using was called a Robotic Operating Buddy, or ROB for short. ROB's main function was to act like a second player during certain games made for the robot. But one of the drawbacks to this item was the lack of games made for it. Out of almost the 700 games produced for the NES, only 2 were made specifically to work with Rob. So basically Nintendo just used this thing to break it big, then chucked his ass in the trash can once his purpose was fulfilled. I mean, I'll probably end up doing the same thing, but come on, only 2 games? Way to fuck over the consumer. Now the robot was first released in Japan with a red and white color scheme, and that was called the Family Computer Robot, or the Fucker for short. And the one released in the US was called the ROB, and the colors were changed over to a grayish tone in order to match the colors of the NES system, just in case you need to camouflage it for some odd reason. But besides the different color schemes, the 2 robots are identical. Now along with the robot comes a whole shitload of accessories, and these fit along the numbered slots located around the base. The robot comes with 2 spinning gyros, a piece to hold the gyros, a gyro spinner, and a special control pad accessory that allows Rob to play games with you. But I can't help but wonder why the base is numbered, but these pieces aren't. I mean, a little numbering system would have been nice so I can just set this thing up for optimal performance. I mean, after all, this is a highly technological piece of shit we're dealing with. Now to operate this thing, you're going to need a shitload of batteries. Now I just gotta find some. The robot alone needs 4 AA batteries to work. Then on top of that, you'll need a single D battery for one of the accessories. Damn, this is getting expensive. Okay, so the first one we're going to look at is a game called Gyromite, which was packaged along with the robot. Now there are a few different modes of gameplay to choose from on the select screen, and the direct mode will help teach you how to control the robot. So let's just start off by doing something simple here, and have him press the A button. All that just to press the A button? How is this supposed to be fun? What a piece of diarrhea dick waffles! I get more pleasure by sticking my tongue into an electrical socket! The robot turns out to be both slow and noisy. Let's just hope he's better at playing the actual game. In this game you start off as Professor Gyro, and your mission is to go around and collect the dynamite scattered around the level before the timer runs out. If you fail, the dynamite then explodes and kills off your character. At least I think it kills him. Either that, or else the sound of these things going off in unison gives the old fucker a heart attack. The main obstacle that stands in your way are these red and blue colored pillars. These can only be moved out of your way by pressing the A and B buttons on the second control pad, which is currently being controlled by your robot buddy. But before you can move these things out of your way, it's going to be your job to instruct them on which way to move. So after you press the start button, the screen will turn blue, and the first controller becomes the command hub for controlling your robot. For instance, pressing up will make a move up. Pressing down will make him move down. Pressing the A and B buttons will open and close his arms. And pressing the party button makes him get jiggy with it.
Getting jiggy with it.
All the commands are sent to the robot by a series of flashes created by the game. The only drawback to this is that sometimes the robot doesn't even respond to the flashes, so you end up sitting there like a fucking putz waiting for him to move. Come on! During your quest to collect dynamite, you'll probably notice that the professor isn't able to jump or attack enemies. So if you come into contact with an enemy, you're fucked. If you fall into a hole that has no way out, you're also fucked. Well, shit! Now, I'm sure they probably did this to make this game more challenging, but I do find it interesting how the A and B buttons on the first controller really have no function at all. It appears that the developers of the game took both the A and B functions off the first controller and just threw them onto the second one in order to get the robot involved. Well, this is just an assload of shit! Why ruin a good game by splitting up the buttons between two controllers just to add in a stupid robot? This in turn makes the game longer to play and ends up boring the player out of his fucking mind while he waits for the prick to move. Just look how much faster I can finish this level all by myself compared to playing with the robot. Ugh, this is just pathetic. Can you imagine playing Super Mario Bros. Where the jump button is on the second controller? The suicide rate in this country alone would go through the fucking roof. One way the robot add-on becomes an absolute nightmare is during those critical moments when the enemy is closing in on you. Come on! Ah! You dickbag! You're the worst player I've ever played with! Alright, let's try this again. Did you just squish my player? You better shape up or your ass is out of here.